Creed Part 2. First thing, it didn't have like a name like Creed, you know, the Return, or Creed, the Second Coming, or Creed, you know, That's My Daddy, or something like that. It was just Creed 2. Just like the Rocky movies, Rocky 1, Rocky 2, Rocky 3. There was no like, you know, Jaws 3D or something like that where they had to add to it. They just added a number. And I thought that was kind of cool. This movie stars Micheal B Jordan, Sylvester Stallone, Tisha Thompson, Dolph Lundgren, Florin Mantunu. I think I said that right. I may not have. And a special guest star, somebody that was in the previous movies, the Rocky movies, the Rocky franchise, that shows up in this one that I didn't expect. I kind of a little bit, like maybe 10-15%, but not really. So that was kind of cool. They brought in somebody from the old cast to tie the movies in even more so. So what's happening now is Adonis becomes the champ. He's the world champ. He is the man. And as soon as he becomes champ, little Drago, you know, Victor, wants to fight him for the belt. Because they're not living well. The world has turned on them since his father lost the belt. His father was on top of the belt, top of the world with the belt. You know, they thought he was going to get it. And then they were like, okay, he's going to get the belt. He's going to bring it home to Mother Russia. We'll have the world heavyweight champ. But he lost. So they don't show it, but they tell you that his life, you know, took a complete nosedive after that. He lost everything. And he's been living fairly badly ever since then. So he's been angry with Rocky. I don't know why he didn't, when he was young, like, you know, they're like, because this is 30 years later. Why didn't he say, oh man, my life sucks now. I want to fight Rocky again and win. Because if they'd have fought a second time, he'd have probably killed Rock. But they didn't. He just waited 30 years, had a kid, and said, now, sick him. Get the new guy. So he did that, and he sent his son to fight, you know, Apollo's kid, which he called Rocky's boy. So in his mind, you know, Apollo's kid, your kid. Apollo's kid, your kid. If I dust him, whoever's the champ is connected to you, I'll get everything back. So Drago kind of wants his son to do this for him. Like when you see those shows where the little girl's dancing on stage and the mom is like imitating her movements and she's like, yeah, you know, I want to live vicariously through you. It's kind of what's happening here, and Victor knows it. So that kind of sucks when your parents love you exclusively because you can do a thing for them. That sucks. He was the son's Drago, Victor Drago. That dude was big. That was a monster. They picked a good guy to play the villain in that one. There's really 4 stories. There's a main story and there's 3 understories happening. Of course, you've got, you know, the fight, the big fight. Everybody wants to see a fight. But Donnie, Micheal B Jordan, is dealing with the past, the loss of his father. That hits him kind of hard because now it's within his grasp to reach out at the family that killed his father. Then you've got, I guess I'm not giving this away because it was in the preview, you got a new baby and he's got to deal with that. And the potential problem that the baby might have. I'm not going to give it away. Then you've got Rocky trying to deal with his son. If you remember from the Rocky movies, him and his son didn't get along, and they mentioned it in Creed 1 that they hadn't talked in a long time. So they're kind of bring that back. They rehash that, and they touch on that a little bit. And then the third thing is Drago, Victor, and their family. and how everything from the Rocky fight tore their life apart and the things that they're going through. So he is in fact the villain. But the Rocky franchise, which is now the Creed franchise, has learned from Marvel that a villain is more compelling if you can understand why they're a villain. If you can say, I could see that. If that happened to me, that I might do that. Then if it pulls you in, if the villain pulls you in, it's more interesting and makes the villain more interesting. So they did this. They touch on the life of Drago family after, Russia crushed them because they lost the belt, or they didn't gain the belt. So they do that. And I thought that was pretty good, man, because that made a more interesting story. It made the villain more relatable. You had invested interest in what was going on in the villain's life as well as the hero. Which is great to do because the villains, the Russians, really didn't talk that much. I think through the entire movie, it showed them a lot, but they were just kind of menacing, staring at you, But it was good, They didn't give them a lot to say, but they gave them, they let them give you the stank eye a few times, and that was kind of interesting the way they did it, and you knew what they was thinking and stuff. And the ending, I don't want to give away the ending, but the ending was kind of touching because you got to think, what's the hero thinking about, and what are the villains thinking about? Have that in mind when you see the ending. What's the hero thinking about? What's the villain thinking about? And that'll pull you deeper into the story. They had a good soundtrack. They had a really good soundtrack, but I weigh soundtracks now against the Black Panther soundtrack and against Black Lightning soundtrack. This wasn't quite that good, but it had a pretty good soundtrack. When the music was, and of course they put dun 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 dun. They had to stick that in there. That gets you. I mean, that moved me. When I heard that, I was like, hey, I wanted to get up and start boxing. That music pulls you in. It's a theme song that you will probably always remember. There's no Easter egg. You can stay as long as you want. I stayed until the people came in and told me I had to go. There is no Easter egg. That kind of sucked because I was looking for a little bit more, just a touch, just a taste. But no, didn't get nothing. One of the things that I noticed was both fighters fought in their father's trunks, which was kind of good. So it was almost like Drago versus Creed 30 years later. So that was cool. I kind of wish they hadn't killed Apollo because it would have been cool to see him show up in the movie at some point. Though he was mentioned and you saw him without the actor being in there. You saw him all the time. So that was kind of cool. But I dug Creed. I'm not sure that they're going to do another one unless they do, the son of Mr. T or something like that. But I'm not sure how much meat is left on the bone, but it was a good movie. Those were two good movies. Usually you do a 3-movie deal, so there's probably going to be a third one. I don't know what they're going to do, but I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was worth the money. I think you should see it. Have you seen it? If you have, let's talk about it in a comment. What was your favorite sports movie? Boxing or whatever. Cool Runnings with the bobsled, anything. Let's talk about your favorite sports movie. I am going to give this movie 8. 8 bags of popcorn, man. And it was good. But that's what I thought. What do you think? Let's talk about it in the comments. And as always, if you like the video, if you like the content, subscribe. And then like.
Passport. Get your popcorn passport.